The tall towers of Luminara glowed in the light of 3 moons. Inside the royal palace, Princess Zelaria stood alone by the window. She was tiny compared to others of her kind. While most Kirani grew to 8 feet tall, Zelaria was just 5 feet. In a world where size meant power, she was seen as weak. Zelaria watched the ships land at the spaceport. Today was special. Humans were coming to Luminara for the first time. Her people had only recently discovered Earth, and this meeting would shape the future of both worlds. "Princess, the High Council requests your presence," said a servant from the doorway. Zelaria nodded and followed him down the long hall. Her steps were quick to keep up with the tall servant's stride. She had learned to walk fast her whole life, always trying to catch up to everyone else. In the great hall, her father, the High Sovereign, sat on his crystal throne. His massive form towered over everyone. Next to him stood her 2 older sisters, both tall and proud. "Zelaria," her father's voice boomed. "You will serve as cultural attaché to the humans." She looked up in surprise. This was an important job, but she knew why they chose her. The council wanted to keep her away from important matters. They were ashamed of her small size. "Yes, father," she said, bowing her head. "The humans are small, like you," said War Commander Vexorn with a smirk. He had once rejected Zelaria as a mate, making sure everyone knew he would never bond with such a tiny female. "You should fit right in with them," the council members laughed. Zelaria kept her face calm, though her heart burned with anger. They did not know about her sharp mind or her skills with technology. In her private chambers, she had built devices that would amaze even the royal engineers. But no one ever asked what she could do. They only saw her height. Later that day, the human ship landed. Zelaria stood with the welcome party wearing her royal robes and crystal crown. She felt small among her people, but she stood straight and proud. The ship's door opened. The humans walked out, and for the first time in her life, Zelaria wasn't the smallest person in the room. The humans looked up at the Kirani with wide eyes. Some seemed afraid, but their leader stepped forward with confidence. "I am Captain Olivia Reeves of the Earth Diplomatic Corps," she said. "We come in peace and friendship." Zelaria studied the human woman. Olivia had dark hair pulled back and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She was about Zelaria's height, but she carried herself like someone much taller. The High Sovereign welcomed the humans with formal words. Then he presented Zelaria. "My daughter will be your guide and teacher about our ways," he said. "She will help you understand Luminara." Captain Reeves looked at Zelaria with interest, not pity. "We look forward to learning from you, Princess." Over the next few days, Zelaria showed the humans around the capital city. She explained Kirani customs and history. The humans asked many questions. They seemed to value knowledge more than physical strength. One evening, after the official tours were done, Zelaria found Captain Reeves alone on a balcony looking at the stars. "The night sky looks different here," Olivia said, "but still beautiful. Do you see that bright blue star?" Zelaria pointed. "We call it the Traveler. Our stories say it watches over those who journey far from home." Olivia smiled. "We have similar stories on Earth. It seems some things are the same across the stars." They talked for hours. Zelaria learned about Earth and its many cultures. Olivia told her about oceans and mountains, about cities where millions of people live together. "Your world sounds wonderful," Zelaria said. "It has beauty and problems like any place," Olivia replied. "We've had our share of wars and troubles." "As have we," Zelaria said softly. She hesitated, then added, "May I ask you something personal?" Olivia nodded. "On Earth, does size determine worth?" Olivia looked surprised. "No, though we've had times in our history when physical traits were given too much importance. Now we know that minds and hearts matter more than bodies." Zelaria felt something warm inside her. "Here, I am considered flawed. A royal mistake. My sisters are perfect Kirani. Tall, strong warriors. I am..." She gestured to herself. "This." "On our ship," Olivia said, "we have humans of many sizes and shapes. Our best scientist is very short. Our strongest security officer is a woman who stands only as tall as me." We value what people can do, not how they look. For the first time, Zelaria felt understood. Here was someone who saw past her height to who she really was. Their talks continued each night. During the day, Zelaria performed her duties, taking the humans to meetings and explaining Kirani ways. At night, she and Olivia shared stories and ideas. Zelaria showed Olivia her secret workshop, hidden behind her bedroom. Here she had built small computers and weapons, tools and gadgets. "This is amazing," Olivia said, examining a tiny drone Zelaria had made. "Have you shown these to your father?" Zelaria shook her head. "They would not care. Technical work is not valued like battle skills." "On Earth, you'd be celebrated for this talent," Olivia told her. One day, while the humans were meeting with trade officials, Zelaria went to her private landing pad. There sat her small ship, the Starlight Seeker. It looked simple from outside, but inside she had rebuilt it completely. The ship was fast and smart, with systems she had designed herself. She climbed aboard and checked her special scanner. For weeks, she had noticed strange signal patterns in the Royal Communications Network. Someone was sending coded messages, and she wanted to know who and why. Her scanner picked up a new transmission. The signal came from the military base where War Commander Vexorn worked. Zelaria recorded the message and took it back to her workshop to decode. Hours later, her hands shook as she read the decoded text. War Commander Vexorn was talking to someone about attacking Earth's colonies. They planned to make it look like an accident, then offer help that would really be an invasion. Zelaria needed to warn Olivia, but first, she needed proof that the Council would believe. She would have to be careful. If Vexorn discovered she knew about his plan, her life would be in danger. As night fell over Luminara, Zelaria made her decision. She would protect her new friends, even if it meant going against her own people. For the first time in her life, someone valued her for who she was, not her size. She would not let Vexorn destroy that. Morning came to Luminara with the bright light of 2 suns. Zelaria had not slept. All night she worked to gather more proof of Vexorn's secret plan. Her small fingers moved quickly over her computer, following digital trails that the War Commander had tried to hide. She found more messages. The plot was bigger than she first thought. Vexorn was not working alone. Other high-ranking Kirani were helping him. They all believed that humans were too weak to be real allies. They wanted Earth's resources, not friendship. Zelaria saved all the proof on a small crystal drive. She hid it in a pocket of her royal robe. Today she would need to be very careful. She would try to talk to her father first. Maybe he would listen if she showed him the proof. At the morning meal, the great dining hall was full of Kirani nobles and human guests. Zelaria sat at her usual place, far from her father. The table was too high for her, making her feel like a child. She noticed how Olivia and her team sat comfortably at a special table made for their size. The humans had asked for this change without shame. After eating, Zelaria tried to speak with her father. "I need to discuss something important," she told him. The High Sovereign looked down at her. "Not now, daughter. We have real matters to attend to." His words stung, but Zelaria was used to such treatment. "Father, this is about our security. Please, enough," he said. "Go attend to the humans. That is your duty." Zelaria stepped back, her face hot with shame and anger. Across the room, she saw Vexorn watching her with narrow eyes. Did he suspect she knew something? She couldn't tell. She joined Olivia and her team as they prepared for a tour of the technology center. Heather Boyd, the communications specialist, smiled as Zelaria approached. Nicole Martinez, head of security, nodded respectfully. "Good morning, Princess," Olivia said. "You look tired. Is everything all right?" Zelaria wanted to tell them everything, right then. But the room had too many ears. "I will explain later," she whispered. "We need to talk in private." Olivia's expression turned serious, but she nodded without asking questions. The tour of the technology center went as planned. Kirani scientists showed off their latest inventions. Zelaria noticed that they only displayed simple devices, keeping their best technology secret. The humans shared information more openly, describing Earth's recent advances in medicine and clean energy. Vexorn joined the tour halfway through. He stood close to Zelaria, his massive form making her feel even smaller. "Our tiny princess seems to be enjoying her time with the humans," he said, his voice loud enough for others to hear. "Perhaps she has found her true people at last." "Some," Kirani laughed. Zelaria kept her face calm, though her heart beat faster. Was this just his usual mockery, or did he know she had discovered his plot? "Commander Vexorn," Olivia said, her voice cool but polite. "On Earth we find that those who focus on physical differences often miss seeing true talent. Princess Zelaria has been an excellent guide and teacher." Vexorn's face darkened. He was not used to being challenged, especially by someone so small. He walked away without responding. "Thank you," Zelaria said quietly to Olivia. "No need. I only spoke the truth." That evening, Zelaria led Olivia, Heather, and Nicole to her private workshop. She closed the door and activated a device that would block anyone from listening. "What I'm about to tell you must stay between us," she said. She showed them the crystal drive and explained what she had found. "War Commander Vexorn and others are planning to attack your outer colonies. They want to start a war while pretending to be your friends." The humans looked at the evidence on Zelaria's screen. Messages, plans, star maps with Earth colonies marked as targets. "This is serious," Nicole said. "We need to tell our government right away." "I tried to tell my father, but he wouldn't listen," Zelaria said. "The council thinks I'm just seeking attention, and if Vexorn learns I've discovered his plan, he will silence me." "We need more proof," Heather said. "Something they can't ignore." Olivia nodded. "Can your equipment track where these messages are going? Who is Vexorn working with? Outside your military?" "I've been trying," Zelaria said. "The signals go to a relay point in the Dark Cloud Nebula, then disappear. I think there might be another species involved." They worked together through the night. Heather's knowledge of communication systems helped Zelaria improve her tracking program. Nicole suggested ways to gather evidence without being noticed. "We should check my ship," Zelaria said as morning approached. "The Starlight Seeker has better scanning equipment than what I have here." She led them through hidden passages to her private landing pad. The Starlight Seeker sat waiting, its silver hull gleaming in the early light. "It's smaller than I expected," Nicole said. "Like its captain," Zelaria replied with a small smile. "But it has surprises inside." The interior of the ship amazed the humans. Despite its small size, Zelaria had packed it with advanced technology. The control room had seats that adjusted to fit different body sizes. Screens covered the walls, showing various data and star maps. "I built most of this myself," Zelaria explained. "No one pays attention to what I do with my toy ship. This is far beyond what your scientists showed us yesterday," Heather said, examining the communication array. "That's because they don't know what I can do," Zelaria said. "They never asked." She activated the ship's main scanner, directing it toward the relay point in the nebula. The powerful system could detect signals that her workshop equipment missed. "There," she said after several minutes. "A new transmission." They listened to the coded message. Zelaria's computer worked to translate it. Words appeared on the screen. "Humans suspect nothing. Attack fleet in position. Awaiting final order." Olivia's face grew pale. "We need to warn Earth immediately. If we send a direct message, they might intercept it," Zelaria said. "We need to be careful." They created a coded warning. Heather helped design it to look like routine diplomatic communication. They sent it through multiple relay points to hide its origin. As they left the ship, Zelaria noticed a shadow moving near the palace wall. Someone had been watching them. "We need to hurry," she said, leading the humans back through the secret passage. That afternoon, during a formal meeting between the High Council and the human delegation, Zelaria sat in her usual place at the edge of the room. She watched Vexorn closely. He seemed more confident than usual, smiling as he spoke about future cooperation between their peoples. Suddenly, palace guards entered the room. Their leader whispered something to the High Sovereign. Her father's face turned hard as stone. Princess Zelaria, he called out, his voice echoing in the great hall. You will come forward. Zelaria stood, her heart pounding. She walked to the center of the room, feeling all eyes on her. What had happened? Did they know about her warning to Earth? You are accused of treason, her father said. Guards have found evidence that you plan to give military secrets to the humans and flee to Earth. The room erupted in shocked voices. Zelaria stood frozen in place. I have done no such thing, she said when she found her voice. Vexorn stepped forward. We have proof, tiny princess. Your ship is packed with stolen military technology. You were seen showing it to the humans this very morning. Zelaria realized the trap. Vexorn had twisted her actions to make her look guilty. Now no one would believe her warnings about his real plan. Father, I can explain, she began. Silence, the High Sovereign shouted. You have shamed our family and endangered our world. You will be held for judgment. Guards moved toward Zelaria. She looked at Olivia and her team, seeing the concern in their eyes. They couldn't help her now without causing a diplomatic disaster. As the guards led her away, Zelaria caught Vexorn's satisfied smile. He had removed her as a threat. Now nothing stood in the way of his plan to attack Earth. In the holding cell, Zelaria sat alone. The walls were made of crystal that no Kirani could break, but they had designed this prison for full-sized people. Perhaps her small size would finally be an advantage. The crystal prison glowed with soft blue light. Zelaria examined every inch of her cell. The door was sealed tight. Guards stood outside, their tall forms visible through the clear walls. There seemed no way to escape. Zelaria sat on the floor, her mind racing. She had to warn people about Vexorn's real plan. If she could not escape, Earth's colonies would be attacked, and war would follow. Night fell over Luminara. Most of the palace slept, but Zelaria stayed awake. She noticed something about her cell that gave her hope. The air vent near the ceiling was made for full-sized Kirani buildings. The metal bars were spaced wide enough that maybe her small body could fit through. She waited until the guard changed shifts. Then she pushed the sleeping platform beneath the vent. Standing on it, she could just reach the metal bars. She pulled herself up and squeezed her body against the opening. It was tight, but her small size let her slip between the bars. Zelaria crawled through the air system. The dust made her want to sneeze, but she held it back. She followed the paths she remembered. From studying palace plans as a child, soon she reached an exit in a quiet hallway. She dropped down silently and moved through shadows. She needed to find Olivia or one of the humans. They were her only allies now. A noise made her freeze. Someone was coming. Zelaria pressed herself against the wall, hoping the darkness would hide her. Two guards walked past, talking about the traitor princess and her coming execution. Execution? Zelaria felt cold fear. Her father had already decided her punishment without a trial. Vexorn must have convinced him she was too dangerous to keep alive. When the guards were gone, she continued through the palace. She reached the guest wing, where the humans stayed. Two Kirani guards stood at the entrance. She couldn't get past them. Zelaria turned and headed for her workshop. Maybe she could use her technology to contact Olivia. As she moved through familiar passages, she heard voices ahead. She ducked into an empty room and peeked out. Lieutenant Samantha Winters and Dr. Abigail Foster from the human team were walking with a palace servant. They spoke quietly as if not wanting to be heard. The princess is where? Samantha asked. The ceremonial prison, the servant replied. They plan to execute her at dawn. We can't let that happen, Abigail said. Olivia's orders were clear. Zelaria stepped from her hiding place. I'm here, she whispered. The humans spun around, hands moving to their sides where Zelaria knew they carried hidden weapons. When they saw her, relief filled their faces. Princess, Samantha said, we've been looking for you. How did you escape? Asked Abigail. The air vents, Zelaria explained. Being small has its advantages. The palace servant looked nervous. We must hurry. If the guards find her missing, they will lock down the entire palace. Where is Olivia? Zelaria asked as they moved through the corridors. Meeting with your father, Samantha said. Trying to resolve this diplomatically, but she gave us orders to find you and get you to safety just in case. They reached an empty storage room. The servant pressed a hidden panel and a section of wall slid open to reveal a narrow passage. This leads to the outer gardens, he said. From there you can reach your ship. Why are you helping me? Zelaria asked the servant. He bowed slightly. Not all Kirani judge by size, princess. Some of us see your true worth. The passage was dark and tight. They moved quickly, following the servant's lead. Zelaria's heart raced with each step. Would they make it to her ship? And then what? They emerged in the gardens, the 3 moons giving just enough light to see. The servant pointed to a path that would take them to the private landing pad where the Starlight Seeker waited. Thank you, Zelaria said. Live well, princess. Show them what they refuse to see. He disappeared back into the passage. The 3 women ran through the gardens, staying in shadows. They reached the landing pad without being seen. The Starlight Seeker sat untouched. Apparently, the guards had not yet thought to secure her ship. Vexorn made a mistake, Zelaria said as they approached. He thought my ship was just a toy, not worth guarding. They boarded quickly. Zelaria went straight to the control room and started the power systems. Lights came on as the ship hummed to life. Can this thing really fly? Samantha asked, looking around the small space. Better than any military vessel, Zelaria said with pride. I built it for speed and stealth. An alarm sounded from the palace. They had discovered her missing. We need to leave now, Abigail said. Zelaria's fingers flew over the controls. The ship rose silently, its engines making less noise than a whisper. She activated the stealth mode she had designed. The hull changed color to match the night sky, making the ship nearly invisible. Where's Olivia? She asked as they climbed higher. She should be at the rendezvous point, Samantha said, if all went as planned. The ship cleared the atmosphere. Zelaria checked the sensors. Several large Kirani warships were moving from the military base. They had been waiting, ready to pursue. They're tracking us, she said. Can we outrun them? Abigail asked. Zelaria smiled for the first time since her arrest. Watch. She pushed the engines to full power. The stars blurred as the ship shot forward at incredible speed. The pursuing warships fell behind, unable to match the Starlight Seeker's pace. That's impossible, Samantha said, staring at the sensor display. No ship this small should move that fast. I told you, Zelaria said. They underestimated me. And my ship. They flew toward the coordinates Samantha provided. It was a small moon orbiting a gas giant at the edge of the Kirani system. As they approached, sensors detected a human shuttle waiting there. That's Olivia, Samantha confirmed after checking the signal codes. They landed next to the shuttle. The air on the moon was thin but breathable. Zelaria put on a light mask before opening the hatch. Olivia ran to meet them, her face showing relief when she saw Zelaria. You made it. When they announced your escape, I wasn't sure if our plan would work. Your friends found me before I found them, Zelaria said. But we have a problem. Kirani warships are searching for us and Vexorn still plans to attack Earth's colonies. I know, Olivia said. I couldn't convince your father of the truth. Vexorn has too much influence over him. They gathered in the Starlight Seeker to make plans. Olivia had sent messages to Earth warning of possible attacks, but she wasn't sure if they had gotten through. Kirani ships were blocking most communications. We need proof that no one can deny, Abigail said. Something to show both our worlds. The relay station in the Dark Cloud Nebula, Zelaria suggested. If we can get there, we might find who Vexorn is working with. It's dangerous, Olivia warned. That nebula is hard to navigate, and we would be on our own. My ship can handle it, Zelaria said, and we have no choice. We're already considered traitors by both sides. A sensor alert interrupted them. 3 Kirani warships were approaching the moon. They found us, Samantha said. Everyone aboard, Zelaria ordered. We need to leave now. They all boarded the Starlight Seeker. Olivia sent a final message to her shuttle, setting it to self-destruct after they left. It would serve as a distraction. Zelaria guided the ship away from the moon, keeping low, and using the terrain to hide their departure. When the human shuttle exploded, the Kirani ships converged on that spot, giving them a chance to slip away. Once clear, Zelaria set course for the Dark Cloud Nebula. The ship's small size allowed it to move quickly through space, dodging sensor sweeps from pursuing vessels. "We'll need to stop at the mining outpost on Veros first," Zelaria said, "to get supplies and information." "I've been there," Olivia said. "It's neutral territory. Traders from many systems go there." As they traveled, Zelaria explained more about her ship. She showed them weapon systems hidden within what looked like decorative elements. The Starlight Seeker might be small, but it packed serious firepower. "I've been preparing for years," she told them. "Not for this exactly, but I always knew I might need to defend myself someday." "Why did you never show your people what you could do?" Abigail asked. Zelaria was quiet for a moment. "I tried when I was younger. My father patted my head and said my little toys were cute." Vexorn laughed and asked what use were clever gadgets in a weak body. "After a while I stopped trying to impress them. I built things for myself instead." "Their loss," Olivia said. "On Earth your skills would be celebrated." "If Earth survives what's coming," Zelaria said softly. They flew on through space, a small ship carrying a big secret. Behind them, the news would be spreading across both worlds. Humans and Kirani would hear that a tiny princess and human diplomats had stolen military technology and fled. Few would know the truth, that they were racing to prevent a war. Zelaria checked their course. The Dark Cloud Nebula was still days away. She hoped they would find answers there, and not more enemies. As the others rested, she sat at the controls, watching the stars. For the first time in her life, she was truly free from her people's judgment. Here, in this small ship with these humans who saw her value, her size didn't matter. It was a strange feeling, both frightening and wonderful. A soft step told her. Someone had entered the control room. Olivia sat in the co-pilot's seat. "You should rest," Zelaria said. "So should you," Olivia replied. "But I'm guessing neither of us can sleep right now." The mining outpost on Veros hung at the edge of an asteroid field. Lights from its docking bays and habitat domes glowed against the darkness of space. Ships of many shapes and sizes moved around it like busy insects. Zelaria guided the Starlight Seeker toward a small hidden docking bay she knew from previous visits. The ship's outer hull had changed color again, now showing the dirty gray of a common trading vessel. "Will they recognize you here?" Samantha asked as they prepared to dock. "Some might," Zelaria said. "I came here often to get parts for my projects, but I never used my royal title. They know me as Ria, a tech dealer." The ship settled into the docking bay with barely a sound. Zelaria checked the news feeds from both Kirani and human networks. Their escape was the main story everywhere. The Kirani called them dangerous thieves. The humans were asking questions about why their diplomats had fled. "They're controlling the story," Olivia said, looking over her shoulder. "And we can't reach anyone who might listen. First, we need supplies," Zelaria said. Then information. They left the ship, with Zelaria wearing a hooded cloak that hid her distinctive Kirani features. The outpost was crowded with beings from many worlds. Most were rough-looking traders and miners. No one paid much attention to four more visitors. They found a supply shop run by a six-armed alien with skin like blue leather. It recognized Zelaria despite her hood. "Ria. Long time no see," it said in the common trade language. "What brings you to my humble shop?" "The usual, Grex," Zelaria replied. "Parts and no questions." The alien's mouth parts clicked in what might have been a laugh. "Same prices, same rules." They bought food, fuel cells, and spare parts that might be needed for repairs. Grex packed everything efficiently, its 6 arms working at once. "Heard interesting news," the alien said casually as they finished. "Princess of Luminara gone missing with some humans. Big reward for information." Zelaria kept her face calm. Is that so? Sounds like royal trouble? Indeed. Grex leaned closer. Also heard whispers about ships moving near Earth colonies, military ships trying not to be seen. Olivia stiffened beside Zelaria. Whose ships? She asked. Grex studied her with 3 of its 8 eyes. Not sure. But not Kirani design. Something else. Something old. They paid for their supplies and arranged delivery to their ship. As they turned to leave, Grex called after them. If you see Ria's royal look-alike, tell her to watch the shadows. Some hunters don't care if they bring back their target alive. Outside the shop, they walked through crowded market streets. Alien foods cooked on open grills. Traders called out their wares in many languages. We need to find out more about these ships near Earth, Olivia said quietly. I know someone who might help, Zelaria replied. She works in communication systems. Hears many things that pass between worlds. They turned down a narrow side passage. The noise of the market faded behind them. Zelaria led them to a small door marked with symbols in several languages. What is this place? Abigail asked. Information Center, Zelaria explained. Or that's what they call it. Really, it's where secrets are bought and sold. Inside, the room was dark except for glowing screens and data terminals. A human woman sat at the main desk, her fingers moving quickly over a control panel. She looked up as they entered, her eyes narrowing when she saw Zelaria. You're taking a big risk coming here, Your Highness, she said. Zelaria was surprised. You know who I am? The woman smiled slightly. Catherine Shaw, Earth Intelligence. And yes, I know exactly who you are. Earth Intelligence? Olivia stepped forward. I wasn't informed about agents in this sector. That's how intelligence works, Captain Reeves, Catherine replied. Need-to-know basis. You know us too, Samantha said. How? I've been tracking War Commander Vexorn's activities for months, Catherine explained. When you all disappeared from Luminara, I figured you'd end up here sooner or later. She gestured for them to follow her through a hidden door at the back of the room. Beyond was a small but well-equipped operations center with screens showing star maps and ship movements. I'm not officially here, Catherine told them. This operation isn't sanctioned by Earth Command, but some of us have suspected a conspiracy for a long time. What have you found? Zelaria asked. Catherine brought up an image on the main screen. It showed strange ships moving near Earth's outer colonies. They had a design Zelaria had never seen before. Long, curved hulls with spines along their length. These appeared 3 months ago, Catherine said. They stay just outside normal sensor range, watching. Not Kirani ships, Zelaria confirmed. No. Catherine brought up another image, this one showing Vexorn meeting with a hooded figure. But your war commander has been meeting with their representatives. Who are they? Olivia asked. They call themselves the Nexari, Catherine said. A hive mind species from beyond the Dark Cloud Nebula. They've been isolated for centuries, but now they're making moves. Zelaria studied the images. What do they want? Resources, territory. The usual, Catherine said. But their method is clever. They don't conquer directly. They manipulate other species into fighting each other, then move in to help the survivors. And Vexorn is working with them, Olivia said. Why? What does he get out of it? Power, Zelaria said softly. He's always wanted more than just military command. If he leads a successful war against Earth, he could challenge my father for leadership. Classic divide and conquer, Samantha commented. Catherine nodded. The Nexari have been feeding both sides false information. Humans are getting reports that Kirani are planning attacks. Kirani are hearing that humans want to steal their technology. We need proof to show both governments, Abigail said. I have some, Catherine replied, but not enough. The real evidence is on the Nexari command ship, currently hiding in the Dark Cloud Nebula. That's where we were heading, Zelaria said. An alarm sounded from one of the monitoring stations. Catherine moved quickly to check it. We have a problem, she said. Kirani military ships just entered Veros space. They're scanning for your ship's signature. They found us, Samantha said. Not yet, Catherine corrected. But they will soon. This outpost has limited defenses. Once they start a full search, they'll locate you. We need to leave, Olivia decided. I'm coming with you, Catherine said. I've learned all I can here, and you'll need my access codes to infiltrate the Nixari systems. They hurried back to the docking bay where the Starlight Seeker waited. The supplies had been delivered as promised. They loaded everything quickly, aware that time was running out. As Zelaria prepared the ship for departure, sensor alerts showed Kirani soldiers entering the outpost. They were checking identification and searching vessels. They'll lock down. All departures soon, Catherine warned. We're not using the main exit, Zelaria said. She activated a special control sequence. This docking bay has a maintenance hatch. It's small, but so is my ship. The wall behind the ship slid open, revealing a narrow service tunnel meant for repair drones. It looked barely wide enough for the Starlight Seeker. That's our way out? Samantha asked doubtfully. Being small has advantages, Zelaria reminded her. Hold on tight. She powered up the engines and eased the ship into the tunnel. The fit was tight, with barely inches to spare on either side. They moved slowly at first, then faster as Zelaria gained confidence. Kirani ships are taking positions around all main exits, Catherine reported, watching the sensor display. They won't expect this, Zelaria said. The tunnel curved and twisted through the outpost's structure. Zelaria followed it with perfect precision, never touching the walls despite the narrow space. Finally, they reached the outer section where the tunnel opened to space. Get ready, Zelaria warned. Once we exit, we'll need to move fast. She activated the ship's stealth systems. The hull changed color to match the blackness of space. Energy signatures dampened to near zero. The Starlight Seeker shot from the maintenance tunnel like a bullet from a gun. Immediately, Zelaria changed course, using the outpost's bulk to hide them from the Kirani ships. They haven't spotted us yet, Catherine confirmed. Using the asteroid field for cover, Zelaria guided the ship away from Veros. The Kirani vessels continued to orbit the outpost, searching for a ship that was already gone. When they were safely away, Zelaria set course for the dark cloud nebula. The swirling clouds of dust and gas would be dangerous to navigate, but also perfect for hiding. Will your ship's sensors work in the nebula? Catherine asked. I designed them specifically for difficult conditions, Zelaria said. Another project my people thought was a waste of time. As they approached the nebula's edge, Catherine received an encrypted message on her personal communicator. Her face grew serious as she read it. What is it? Olivia asked. The first attack has happened, Catherine said grimly. A human outpost near the border was destroyed 3 hours ago. Earth Command thinks it was Kirani weapons. And my father will soon hear that humans attacked one of our stations, Zelaria guessed. The war has started. We still have a chance to stop it, Olivia insisted. If we can get proof of the Nixari manipulation, both sides might listen. We need to hurry, Zelaria said, pushing the ship's engines harder. The nebula loomed ahead, its swirling colors beautiful but dangerous. As they entered the nebula, sensors detected energy disturbances all around them. The Nixari command ship grew larger in their viewport. Up close it looked like a massive sea creature, its spines moving slightly as if alive. Lights pulsed along its hull in patterns that seemed almost like breathing. Their ships are partially organic, Catherine explained. The Nixari connect to them directly through neural links. Zelaria guided the Starlight Seeker toward a section Catherine had identified as a maintenance entry point. The tiny ship's stealth systems were working perfectly. None of the Nixari vessels showed any sign of detecting them. These access codes should work, Catherine said, sending data to Zelaria's control panel. I obtained them from a damaged Nixari scout ship months ago. Zelaria transmitted the codes. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then a small opening appeared in the larger ship's hull, like an eye slowly blinking open. It worked, Zelaria said with relief. She carefully maneuvered their ship into the opening. They entered a small docking area meant for service drones. The space was barely large enough for the Starlight Seeker, but Zelaria landed it perfectly. The hull opening closed behind them, sealing them inside the Nexari vessel. "Everyone remember the plan?" Olivia asked as they prepared to leave the safety of their ship. They all nodded. Catherine had provided them with a map of the Nexari ship based on intelligence data. They needed to reach the central data core, 17 levels up and deep within the ship. There, they hoped to find proof of the Nexari manipulation and broadcast it to both human and Kirani governments. "We'll split into 2 teams," Olivia continued. "Zelaria, Catherine and I will go for the data core. Samantha and Abigail, you'll create a distraction if needed and secure our escape route." They checked their equipment one last time. The humans carried small weapons Catherine had provided. Zelaria had her own inventions, devices that looked like simple jewelry but held powerful technology. The air in the Nexari ship felt strange when they stepped out of the Starlight Seeker. It was thick and warm, with a sweet smell that made Zelaria feel slightly dizzy. "Their atmosphere is different from what we're used to," Catherine warned. "The masks will help, but move carefully and speak softly. Sound carries oddly here." They moved through narrow maintenance tunnels following Catherine's map. The walls around them pulsed with the same light patterns they had seen outside. Occasionally they felt vibrations, as if the ship itself was responding to their presence. "It's like we're inside a living thing," Abigail whispered. "In a way we are," Catherine replied. "The Nexari view their ships as extensions of themselves." They reached a junction where the maintenance tunnel opened into a larger corridor. Here, they would need to be more careful. Nexari crew members could appear at any moment. "This is where we separate," Olivia said. "Good luck." Samantha and Abigail moved off in one direction, while Zelaria, Olivia, and Catherine took another path. They moved as quietly as possible, stopping at each intersection to check for danger. The corridors were larger than Zelaria expected, clearly designed for beings much bigger than humans or even Kirani. This worked to their advantage, as there were many places to hide: service alcoves, equipment recesses, and shadow-filled corners. They had traveled several levels upward when they heard something approaching. Zelaria pulled her companions into a shadowy recess just as a Nexari moved. Past. It was taller than even the largest Kirani, with a thin, segmented body supported by 4 long legs. Its upper body split into 2 torsos, each with a pair of arms ending in delicate, many-fingered hands. Where a head should be, there was a cluster of sensory organs. No eyes that Zelaria could recognize, but many small, waving tendrils. They sense electrical patterns and chemical signatures more than visual images, Catherine whispered once the creature had passed. "Our masks help hide our breath chemicals but stay still when they're near. Movement creates electrical disturbances they can detect." They continued upward using service lifts designed for maintenance drones. Twice more they had to hide from passing Nexari. Each time Zelaria was struck by how alien the creatures were, so different from both humans and Kirani. Why would Vexorn work with beings so unlike us? She wondered aloud. "Power makes strange allies," Olivia said. "He probably thinks he can outsmart them once humans and Kirani have weakened each other." "A dangerous gamble," Catherine added. They reached level 17 according to Catherine's map. The central data core should be nearby. The corridors here were wider, the pulsing lights brighter. More Nexari moved about, forcing them to proceed with extreme caution. "There." Catherine pointed to a large doorway ahead. "That's the entrance to the data core chamber." 2 Nexari stood guard at the entrance. There was no way past them without being seen. "Now we need that distraction," Olivia said quietly. As if on cue, alarms began to sound from several levels below. The lights in the corridor changed from soft blues to harsh reds. The guards moved away from the door, responding to some command they couldn't hear. "Samantha and Abigail are right on time," Catherine said with a smile. They hurried to the unguarded door. Catherine used another access code, and the door slid open. They slipped inside before anyone could spot them. The data core chamber was vast, much larger than Zelaria had expected. In the center stood a column of swirling light that reached from floor to ceiling. Around it, smaller columns pulsed in rhythm, like heartbeats. The main neural network, Catherine explained. All Nexari ships are connected through these data cores. This one, as the command ship, holds the master records. How do we access it? Olivia asked. Catherine moved to a control panel. I'll try to establish a connection. Zelaria, can you use your technology to help boost the signal? We'll need to break through several layers of security. Zelaria removed what looked like a decorative bracelet from her wrist. The delicate metal bands unfolded into a complex device that she connected to the Nexari panel. This should help, she said. It's designed to interface with alien technology. They worked quickly, aware that the distraction wouldn't last long. Catherine's fingers flew over the control surfaces while Zelaria adjusted her device to match the Nexari systems. I'm in, Catherine said after several tense minutes. Accessing command records now. Data flowed across the screens before them, strange symbols and images that Catherine worked to translate. There, she said suddenly. Look at this. She had found records of communications between the Nexari and Vexorn. Plans for staged attacks on both human and Kirani outposts. Evidence of Nexari ships disguised as Kirani vessels attacking human colonies, and others disguised as human ships striking Kirani stations. This is what we need, Olivia said. Can you download it? Already doing it, Catherine confirmed. But we need to broadcast it too, directly to both governments. Otherwise they might think it's fake. Zelaria adjusted her device again. If I can access their communication array, we can send the data through multiple channels at once. Too many for them to block quickly. As they worked, the door to the chamber slid open. A Nexari entered, larger than the ones they had seen before. Its sensory tendrils waved in agitation when it detected them. Intruders, it said in a strange, multi-toned voice. How did you reach this place? Olivia raised her weapon, but the Nexari moved with surprising speed. One of its forearms knocked the weapon away. Another reached for Catherine, who was still working at the control panel. Zelaria didn't hesitate. She activated another of her hidden devices. A pulse of energy shot from her hand, striking the Nexari. It staggered back, its movements becoming slow and confused. Temporary neural disruption, she explained. It won't last long. Almost done, Catherine said, her fingers still moving over the controls. The broadcast is preparing to send. More alarms sounded throughout the ship. Their presence was now known. They had minutes at most before more Nexari would arrive. Got it, Catherine exclaimed. Broadcasting now. The data began to flow outward, carried on Nexari communication channels, to every corner of known space. Evidence of the conspiracy spread to human and Kirani worlds alike. We need to get back to the ship, Olivia urged. They ran from the chamber, leaving the confused Nexari behind. In the corridor, they could hear commotion from multiple directions. The ship was on full alert. This way, Catherine led them toward a service shaft. It's a more direct route back to the docking level. They climbed down the shaft as quickly as they could. Zelaria's small size made it easier for her to move through the narrow space. She helped the others when they struggled with tight passages. At the bottom of the shaft, they found Samantha and Abigail waiting. Did you get it? Samantha asked. We did, Olivia confirmed. It's broadcasting now. Good, because this whole place is looking for us, Abigail said. We need to move fast. They ran toward the docking area where the Starlight Seeker waited. Twice they had to hide from groups of Nexari searching for them. Once, Zelaria used another of her devices to create a holographic distraction, sending their pursuers in the wrong direction. Finally, they reached the small docking bay. The Starlight Seeker sat untouched, ready for their escape. Get aboard, Zelaria ordered. I'll prepare for launch. As the others boarded, Zelaria worked to override the docking bay controls. They needed the outer doors to open, or they would be trapped. A noise made her turn. A Nexari had found them, and more were close.